I believe are in the battle for the soul of this nation.
Joe Biden is on a roll and running up the score.
I hereby am endorsing Joe Biden.
I believe in Joe.
I endorse Joe Biden.
And endorsing Joe Biden for president.
But Bernie Sanders has a loyal following of progressives who are not backing down.
I am so proud to endorse Senator Bernie Sanders.
I stand with him because he stands with you.
I am endorsing Bernie Sanders because he's not going to sell us out.
His aspiration is our aspiration.
Now Sanders is hoping to defy steep odds and stun Biden just as Biden stunned him 2 weeks ago.
Donald Trump must be defeated. The American people will have the opportunity to see which candidate is best positioned to accomplish that goal.
Florida weighs in on Tuesday, and for the next half hour, we'll take an in-depth look at how they match up and where they differ in this special edition of Money, Power, and Politics. Well, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders have much more in common than either would have you believe when they're duking it out in the middle of the primaries. We analyzed their statements, their policy papers and records, and found they line up and agree on most of the issues. But there are some interesting and in some cases striking areas where they differ. So if you're trying to figure out what sets them apart on policy, or if you want to see how they would match up against President Trump, here's our guide to some of the biggest separators between Biden and Sanders. First, on voting. Bernie Sanders wants to let all criminals vote, including violent felons while still in prison.
I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people.
Biden, on the other hand, supports Florida's amendment that allows most felons to vote after serving their time, but not while still in prison. Sanders wants to get rid of the Electoral College for choosing the president. Biden does not. Sanders also wants to allow minors to vote by lowering the voting age to 16. On affordable housing, Sanders says housing for all. He wants to spend $2.5 trillion building 10 million affordable and low-income housing units all across the nation. Biden proposes $100 billion to expand affordable housing, and among other things, he wants to help first-time home buyers with a $15,000 down payment. On rent, meanwhile, Sanders wants to impose rent control like they have in New York, all across the nation.
We believe that rent control is an appropriate tool nationally to tell landlords that they cannot simply jack up their rents to any rate that they want.
Biden does not support a national rent control law. He's proposing a tax credit for renters that would bring the cost of rent and utilities to within 30% of a renter's income. On going to college, Biden says the first 2 years of college should be free.
And expand the pathway to the middle class by bringing the cost of community college down to zero.
Bernie Sanders says all college should be free, not just the first 2 years, and he would erase all student debt.
Our proposal, which costs $2.2 trillion over 10 years, will be fully paid for by a tax on Wall Street speculation.
On regulating industry, Sanders would break up the tech giants Facebook, Amazon, and Google. Biden says he has concerns about those companies and is open to that, but wants to investigate them for anti-competitive conduct first before committing to breaking them up. Likewise, Sanders also wants to break up large agricultural businesses. Biden says increase enforcement of antitrust laws, but don't necessarily break them apart.
Antitrust laws are not enforced at all in spirit or reality in this administration. It's worth looking at.
On illegal border crossings, Sanders says that should no longer be a crime. He wants to scrap Section 1325, which makes improper entry into our country a criminal offense, and he wants a moratorium on all deportations. Biden takes a different approach.
If an individual is living in the United States of America without documents and that is his only offense, should that person be deported?
No.
Depending if they committed a major crime, they should be deported.
Biden would keep criminal penalties on the books, but like Sanders, he says he would stop separating families at the border, protect dreamers from deportation, and push for a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who otherwise play by the rules. On health care, Sanders says get rid of all private health insurance and then tax the rich to give government-run health care to everyone. Medicare for All, which would cost more than $30 trillion for 10 years. Well, he has not nailed down exactly how he would pay for it when you add together all of his other multi-trillion-dollar proposals.
How do you know it's going to be paid for if you don't know how much the price is?
Well, I can't rattle off to you every nickel and every dime.
Biden's approach on health care is to allow people to keep private insurance if they want it, but give people the option to buy into Medicare or something much like it. Biden says that would cost $750 billion over a decade, which he says he'd pay for by scrapping the Trump-era tax cuts. Now, on to marijuana. Biden says let each state decide whether people can smoke marijuana. Sanders says legal pot across the nation, and he wants to spend $10 billion to help people grow it.
Well, I do believe that on day one, we will change the Federal Controlled Substance Act, which, if you can believe it, now equates heroin with marijuana.
On energy, Sanders wants to shut down America's nuclear energy sector due to concerns about radioactive waste and the potential for accidents. Biden supports continued investments in nuclear research as part of a broader plan to reduce carbon emissions. Sanders supports a total ban on fracking, which is particularly unpopular in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Biden would limit but not ban fracking, as he explained to critics who confronted him.
Because you can't ban fracking right now, you got to transition away from it. Look, you're going to ban fracking all across America right now, right?
I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to too. I'd love to make sure we can't use any oil or gas, period, now. Is it possible?
Yes.
Well, you ought to vote for somebody else.
On abortion, both support abortion rights as determined by Roe v. Wade and want it codified into law. But Sanders has not supported any limits on abortion, while Biden has supported some limits in the past, including a vote to ban late-term abortion 17 years ago. In 2006, Biden described himself as an outlier in his party on this issue.
I'm a bit of an odd man out in my party. I do not vote for funding for abortion. I voted against partial birth abortion to limit it.
In the 2020 race, Biden initially said he still supported the Hyde Amendment, which bans federal funding for abortion in most cases. And then he reversed himself because he said he feared it could block access to abortion services for the poor. On the military, Sanders says slash the defense budget and bring the troops home, period. Biden says we're spending too much on military systems from the past and not enough on new challenges like cyber defense and counterterrorism. To that end, Biden supports increasing the defense budget and using special operators and intelligence assets in global hotspots. Our last stop in this segment is trade. Sanders is closer to President Trump on tariffs. Like Trump, Sanders is a protectionist at heart. While Sanders has criticized Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum, Trump and Sanders say tariffs should be used to crack down on nations like China. Biden says tariffs and trade wars hurt manufacturers and farmers and punish American consumers by driving up our prices.
My trouble with the Trump tariffs wars is they focus on the wrong thing. Instead of focusing on what the real problems are, they focus on only the trade deficit and not the stuff that's happening in terms of the stealing of intellectual property, what's happening in terms around the world, how the competition is unfair.
With respect to Asia, Bernie Sanders also generally sides with Trump in opposing the Pacific Rim Trade Agreement. Biden supports it in concept, but says some parts should be revised. On the compromise, Nancy Pelosi struck with Trump on revising North American free trade, the USMCA. Again, Biden supports it. Sanders does not.
The answer is we could do much better than a Trump-led trade deal.
We'll continue to dig into the policy differences between the candidates, but we're also comparing their records, strategies, and fact-checking their ads.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well.
Joe Biden has always been a strong supporter of Social Security.
Up next, we'll explain those conflicting claims and clashes on Social Security. What have they done, and what would they do?
When you watch the ads in the Democratic race for president, it may look as if former President Obama is endorsing both Sanders and Biden.
And all of this makes him the finest vice president we have ever seen.
And they will find it in Bernie. That's right, feel the burn.
In fact, Obama has not endorsed Sanders or Biden for president at this time. The former president has said he does not want to put his thumb on the scale while Democratic voters are still deciding the nomination. You'll notice that Biden includes the dateline of 2017 in his ad. Obama was praising Biden back then as he gave them the Medal of Freedom.
The best part is he's nowhere close to finished.
The Sanders ad, meanwhile, does not tell you when Obama was praising Sanders. It combines two speeches, one from 2006 when Obama was supporting Sanders for Senate, and the other from 2016 when Obama was endorsing Hillary Clinton and he was urging Sanders supporters to vote for her.
Feel the burn.
But in terms of issues, the ad battle that stands out in Florida focuses on the issue of Social Security. Bernie Sanders is attacking Biden by using Biden's own words from years ago against him.
When I argued if we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well.
But Biden is responding in his ads by saying he wants to increase Social Security. So what gives?
Joe Biden has always been a strong supporter of Social Security. Biden will increase Social Security benefits and protect it for generations to come.
Well, to put this in context, Bernie Sanders is using old quotes from Biden in his attack ad from nearly 40 years ago. Back then, Biden was worried about the soaring federal deficit and national debt. So he proposed a one-year freeze on spending, not necessarily cuts on everything, to get our deficit spending under control.
When I argued if we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Well, as it turned out, Republicans balked at a freeze in military spending while Democrats balked at a freeze in social spending, so Biden's proposal failed back then, and the national debt has since soared to more than $23 trillion. And as the debt soared back in the 1990s, Biden bragged of his prior efforts to freeze spending across the board, which segues into the next line in Sanders' attack ad.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
And then when Biden ran for president in the 2008 cycle, he did say he would be willing to consider reeling something in order to protect Social Security and keep it solvent.
Senator, we have a deficit. We have Social Security and Medicare looming. Would you consider looking at those programs, age of eligibility,
Absolutely.
cost of living, put it all on the table?
The answer is absolutely, you have to.
And that's the crux of Sanders' other attack ad against Biden.
And you've got to put all of it on the table.
Everything.
Everything. You've got to.
People all over this country say that is nuts.
Now, to put that particular point in context, Biden was speaking out against Republican efforts to privatize Social Security, and he presented a willingness to negotiate to prevent privatization. And then, when he was Obama's vice president, the Obama administration did pursue a, quote, grand bargain with Speaker John Boehner and the Republicans. That grand bargain would have raised the retirement age for Social Security and changed the benefits formula as well, and reduced Medicare and Medicaid spending in exchange for higher taxes on the rich. House Republicans tanked that grand bargain, and of course it never came to be.
Well, we've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand benefits.
Bottom line, Biden proposed a freeze on all federal spending in the 1980s and later expressed a willingness to negotiate on Social Security to keep it solvent. But Biden and Sanders both say they want to increase Social Security benefits now, and both also want to lift the cap on taxable income so that wealthier earners will pay more into the system to keep it going.
Coming up, we'll show you where Florida lines up, where the state electorate is shifting and why. Plus, see how election managers are dealing with coronavirus concerns for their poll workers and for voters on Tuesday. Election managers have moved public voting sites away from assisted living facilities and senior centers to protect those most susceptible to coronavirus. They're also doing much more to sanitize the voting booths, which brings us now to perspective and advice from our next guest.
Hillsborough Supervisor of Elections Craig Latimer, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
What is your office doing to protect people most at risk as people go to the polls?
You know, we're following all the CDD guidelines and the public health guidelines. We've got hand sanitizer and wipes in every one of our polling sites and tissues. We're putting the notice out there to wipe equipment down on a regular basis, wipe the styluses down when voters finish using them. We're also talking to our poll workers about, if you don't feel good, don't come to work.
Washington State, the epicenter of the crisis, just had a primary. It urged people to not lick envelopes when mailing in ballots. What advice do you have here in Florida?
Yeah, interestingly enough, we open the very top of the envelope where there's no glue. So we're not exposing anybody to that, where that thing is sealed shut where the glue is.
Voters can do other things too, like bring their own pen, their own hand sanitizer. What more can they do?
What they can also do is they can come to any of our 4 offices and get an over-the-counter vote-by-mail ballot. If they don't want to go into an actual polling site and do all that, they can come to any of our 4 offices. We will issue them a vote-by-mail ballot right then. It just has to be back in my office by 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 17th.
This is the March 17th primary.
Yep.
Then we have another one in August.
Correct.
This may not be cleared by then. Are you concerned about what's next in August?
We're talking about that right now already. We're talking about the possibilities, what we might be able to do moving forward. One of the clear options is to do an all vote by mail, which several states already do. And Florida statute allows you to do an all vote by mail election right now for referenda items. So it would have to take an executive order and some changes for something like that to happen. But in Hillsborough County, we're a large county. I've got 260 election day polling sites and 23 early vote sites throughout the county. So if this continues to snowball, that's going to have a great effect on being able to staff and whether people are even going to show up at that point. So looking at an all vote by mail election makes sense to me.
On March 17th, what happens if somebody, a voter or a poll worker, is symptomatic, you become aware of it? What do? Do you shut that location down?
So we have what we call pop-up precincts. I've got several vans that are loaded up with tents, the tabulators, electronic poll books, so we can immediately pop up a precinct at a location. So if something like that occurred, we might be in the parking lot right next door. We would have new staff there, obviously. The other people would be dealt with by the public health officials, but I don't think that we're going to have any interruption in voting. We'd be able to continue. And we've had that contingency for years. We're in Florida in August, it's hurricane season. I actually had a polling site one year, had a tree, boom, right through the polling site. And we had to relocate. So, we're used to doing things like that and being prepared for that.
Craig, in this trying time, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll dive into the election models, the shifting political landscape in Florida, and show you why you can't always trust the polls. Welcome back. Well, Donald Trump, of course, won Florida in 2016. Ron DeSantis won the governor's race in 2018. However, it was very close. Obama won before that. Florida is still very much a swing state, but it is sharply divided from county to county, region to region. This map puts it in perspective. Take a look at this map produced by MCI Maps. It shows Florida state house districts by party loyalty. In other words, by district, how many voters voted Democrat no matter what, how many voted Republican no matter what, did they split their tickets? The first thing you see, Tampa Bay, our region, is the most split
of the entire state. This is where more voters will split their ticket. This is truly the one place in Florida where Republicans and Democrats tend to live within the same communities. That what sets it apart. This is also the largest media market in all of Florida. Tracking to the southeast, you see the largest concentration of highly partisan Democrats, the highest number of them, by the way, in Broward County. This is the Democratic stronghold. Toward the Orlando area here, not only is it very progressive, but we're seeing an increasing number of Democrats moving into the area by far and away, so that it is now more in line with southeast Florida. Okay, take a look at this map. It puts Tuesday's Democratic race in perspective. Looking back 4 years ago, you see Hillary Clinton won by some 30 points. Bernie Sanders' best play was in rural areas along the Panhandle, places like Holmes County, places like Taylor County, but the population was just not there. And the polling is reflecting that this time around as well. Look at this poll, for example, from FAU. It shows basically Joe Biden with a 36-point lead, taken March 5th through 7th. You look at more recent polling in the field through March 10th. It shows from UNF, Joe Biden leading by 44 points. Bernie Sanders winning among younger voters, but Biden running the table among all other demographics. Of course, you can't always trust the polls. In the age of caller ID, fewer people are taking calls from polling firms. Landlines are going away. And because you're reaching people by cell phones who have to opt in for polling, that's no longer a random digit call. Keep that in mind, but it's an indication basically that in the polling, the people you do reach tend to be younger and more progressive, which is why you may be oversampling in some polls Bernie Sanders support, which is why he may not be faring as well in the election day as he shows up in the polls. Folks, we're a long way from finished. We will continue to keep you posted as results come in on Tuesday. We'll also continue, of course, to follow the pandemic, its impact on the primary, and of course, far beyond. Thank you for watching this special presentation of the Florida primary.